Extra special thanks to Cincy Music for co-hosting My Favorite Album is Terrible. For the best in what Cincinnati's amazing local music scene has to offer, be sure to follow them on Instagram at Cincy Music, that's Cincy with a Y, on Facebook at cincymusic.com, also Cincy with a Y, and on their official website, www.cincymusic.com. Here's the show. All right, everybody. Hi. Welcome to another episode of My Favorite Album is Terrible. My name is Kent Mulcahy with the Cincinnati Public Library. Now, what we normally do on this show every other Thursday at 8 o'clock is we have a guest on the show, and the guest chooses an unloved album by an otherwise, generally well-regarded artist or band. And the guest defends it, and we go back and forth. We hurl insults at each other. That's not the format the show is going to take tonight. And when I introduced who our guests are, that will explain why the format's a little different tonight. So just a general word about how this usually works. Just so everyone knows, like the music, the books, anything that we talk about on this show, always check the comments. I will put direct links so you can check out everything that we're discussing for free with your Cincinnati Public Library card. Now, most of the music that we discuss is usually going to come from our two streaming services, Freegal and Hoopla. Now, if you haven't checked out these services yet, you definitely should. The amount of music you'll find on there is just jaw-dropping. I do not subscribe to any streaming services between Freegal and Hoopla, and then the library selection of CDs and even vinyl records. I have no shortage of music to listen to. So always check the comments so you can listen along and read along with everything that comes up in the discussion. Speaking of the comments section, if you enjoy what you're watching tonight, give us a like, give us a share with any music fans out there that you know that might want to take part in these musical discussions that we have, normally with some sort of Cincinnati slant to them. We really want to get the word out. We want this to be interactive, so we would definitely appreciate it if you gave us a share to anyone you think might be interested. And, similarly in the comments section, if you have an album, an unloved album that you think we should discuss, please put that in the comments section as well. I'd be happy to take a look at what's on everyone's minds out there. Okay, so why is the format of tonight's show different? Why are we not really going to be focusing on a bad album? We are lucky enough to have on the show tonight the band the Ophelias. Now, the Ophelias are a Cincinnati band that they got their start in Cincinnati, and they have since spread out all across the country as they've picked up steam and gained popularity. Now, as it turned out, we got more and more members of the Ophelias to join us tonight. There are 4 members in total. At first it was just going to be a discussion with 1 or 2. And as more people joined on, it was just becoming really impossible to narrow it down to one album to discuss. So while the conversation will, I'm going to try to steer it towards some deep, dark musical secrets in their souls. Really, I think it's a great opportunity to just chat with this amazing Cincinnati band that, maybe some of you have not heard out there. So just a little bit about the Ophelias before we bring them on. As I mentioned, they got their start in Cincinnati. They put out their first full-length album, Creature Nature, in 2015. After that release, they started to get some good attention, and the fantastic record label Joyful Noise Records took notice and signed the Ophelias. Joyful Noise is the home to some amazing artists like Cincinnati's own Y, but also Lou Barlow of Dinosaur Jr. and Sebadoh, as well as Dale Crover of the Melvins, so some definite heavy hitters on this record label. After signing to Joyful Noise, they released their second full-length album, Almost, in 2018, which brings us up to 2020 when they released their 4-song EP, For Luck. So right before we bring the Ophelias on to chat tonight, I just wanted to play a very brief clip of their fantastic song, Grand Canyon, which was the lead single from the EP, For Luck. So let's take a quick listen to this, and then we will start our chat. All right.
Drive past your house and each time hasn't changed at all. Golden light on your face, like in your car, like on the bridge, like in your bed, through the field, like kissing in the bookstore, hiding in the basement, like boiling down
All right. Hello, Ophelias. So thanks for joining us. We have an extra band member here tonight. If everyone's seeing that on their screen, we'll cover that in a second. So before we jump into anything else, this is not a COVID question. I'm not going to ask you how you're coping with a pandemic. That's unfair. What I'm going to ask is, how are you doing right this second? Because we're moment to moment right now.
Yeah, I'm good. I actually just finished a meeting. I've been working with the Union of Musicians and Allied Workers, and we just had a really great, a couple of speakers come and talk to the venues committee about creating safer spaces once venues open up again. So I feel very energized and very excited about the stuff that we can do.
That's fantastic.
Cool.
Staying busy, getting stuff done. Everybody else kind of hanging in there, making it, coping.
I just finished a recording for the Ophelias. We're doing a little cover. So I just finished that like 15 minutes ago or so.
We'll circle back to that because I have a question on that topic. You know, breaking news here. So I figured we don't start with, you folks just introducing yourselves and your role in the band, and let's do it in order of most organized band member to least organized band member. So fight that out amongst yourselves and then go.
I'm Spencer.
You just jump right in.
I'm Spencer. I am the singer, guitar player, songwriter, general organizer of things. Is that all for introductions, or
everybody else? Like, who else?
Yeah. Who?
Andrea's next. I
think so.
I'll go last.
Yeah, Spencer's definitely number one most organized band member. She has like spreadsheets and mood board PowerPoints and like lyric sheets, all on the Google Drive. So that's always the place to check for us whenever we need band information. But I'm Andrea. I'm going to turn on my light. I'm Andrea. I'm the violinist of the Ophelias. That's my role.
All right, so Nick volunteered to go last, so we're gonna go.
I'm flattered, first off. I'm Joe. I play bass and help with making the music videos and stuff.
Great.
And I'm Mick. I play drums.
All right, so just for the people tuning in who may not have heard the Ophelias, what's a quick history of your formation, how you got where you are now?
Yeah, Mick, Andrea, and I met in high school. We just met through mutual friends, and I asked if they wanted to start playing music, and I am so thankful that they did want to. And we played together for a while. We had another bassist, and then last year, I think, right, 2019, Joe joined the band first for just a tour. Wait, what was it? Your third show, right? Was South by?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which was insane.
Yeah, that was really
and then they joined fully in June, July-ish of last year.
Yeah.
And then quarantine hit, and we got to do like 1 year of shows as this current lineup. But we're really looking forward to being able to do more later.
Yeah. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but at a safe and responsible pace, whatever that may be.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite things about your music is I think it's sneakily complex. You listen to it and the rhythms and the time signatures, phrase lengths, guitar chords, the violin parts are purposely slightly dissonant every now and then, but not like in a grating way. And I've heard you describe yourself as an anxious band. And I was curious if maybe the anxiety that goes along with it, is that something that creeps its way into the music naturally, or do you write towards that in your individual parts?
That's interesting.
I think, That is
No, you
interesting.
go, Mick.
Yeah.
You go, Mick. I'm thinking.
I was just gonna say, I think that might reflect somewhat in the music, just because sometimes I feel like there's a lot going on. Like, even if the parts might be sparse, we were talking about like how each of our parts is like in its own way, like a lead part. Like, there's just a lot going on at once. It's not so much trying to blend in, I think. Like, the bass lines are full melody lines a lot of the time. Andrea's writing melodic lines. I think that I tend to play drums in a melodic sense. So I think that is a way that our anxiety is reflected, just because we're like all trying to do the most.
Yeah. but it's not overplaying. Like, I don't want listeners to feel like it's like everyone's trying to play this super sick solo at all times. Like,
Yeah, no, I just think we all tend to write parts that we think are good enough, like, to kind of stand on their own.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Oh, that's a very interesting part. And it's like every time I go back and listen to it, it's like something else grabs you to where, okay, this is what makes the song good. No, this is what makes the song good. And Mick, just to go back to some of your drumming, when I'm thinking about, like, you seem to move from part to part a lot, and so there's like this anxious feel of, oh, okay, I'm settling into the song, and now I'm at the part where it just becomes itself, and then whoa, wait, no, it's switched up again, but it's not abrasive. So it's like boredom and anxiety, maybe. It's like switching things up all the time.
Yeah, a little ADD thrown in there. Just tired of playing the same thing. Totally. I just get bored, honestly, of playing songs. I try to like write parts that'll be fun to play.
Yeah.
Or else I lose interest. So, and I feel like if I'm getting bored of the song, other people will too. So, yeah.
I also think that everyone is pretty good at knowing when to push forward and when to pull back. Like, it never feels like everyone is trying to, like, the cacophony of like, we're all going to play a melody line and it's going to be, overpowering. I think that something I've learned is definitely feeling when things can kind of reach that point where it's like, okay, we're kind of threading the needle, where it's like, here's how the bass part and the guitar line kind of go like this, and then the violin part floats on top, but then the bass or the drums are like grounding it. So it feels a little bit less like everyone's trying to play a melody line and more like puzzle pieces, where it's like we're all doing the same picture, we're just playing different parts of it,
I love that. I think that's a great description. And when you're talking about like throwing around who's taking the the lead part in a certain song, I think a part that jumps out at me, Joe, your bass line in Grand Canyon is it's like, I want to ask this question. It doesn't make sense to ask this question, but it's like, why? How did you? It's great, but why and how?
Yeah, thank you. I don't know. I feel like, it definitely, I feel like I'm in so many things, I tend to be very analytical. Like, my day job is doing like visual effects stuff and animation stuff, which requires, just like a very like point A to point B thing. So I think part of what I value about like getting to play music is just not having to think so much, honestly. I think, like we were talking a bit before about how like I started playing classical guitar. So that's kind of just where my brain goes, I think. I like tend towards like the higher notes, and I don't know. I wish I had a more coherent answer, but straight from the gut, I guess.
I kind of assumed that with some of those parts, like the I don't know was going to be the answer, because it's just this great part that only one person in the world could write, and it's coming from you on that one. Andrea, as far as the writing, the way it goes, I'm curious as to how you add your parts to the mix. When you, kind of the overall songwriting process, when you get something, does it come to you with Spencer's vocals already on it, or does it come to you with kind of just the track behind it? Like, or do you write to her vocal lines in some ways?
Yeah, it kind of depends on, the setup. Like, when we were doing our first two albums, we kind of wrote those together, and even the third album that isn't out yet, we all just sat down and we were kind of, coming up with parts live. And so a lot of that process was Spencer, has a bunch of these demos that she's written and sends them to all of us, and then we kind of go through and say, we really like these 20 songs, and then we sit down and we try to just go through them. And then, we'll say, oh, Mick, I really love that part that you played there. And then that's kind of, it's a very collaborative, I think, way of writing music, if we can do that. But then, this, for example, the EP that we put out over the summer, that one was done totally just in our own homes. Yeah. So that one we had to do by ourselves, and, writing music kind of separately. So in that case, Spencer would send us the guitar and vocals, and then it would go to Mick, and then usually Joe, and then I'm usually the one who gets it last. So then I can kind of, it's really helpful to have the percussion there, just to have the tempo and everything. And yeah, so that's kind of a little bit about the process.
Yeah, it works very, very well. So, taking it back to kind of some of the earlier days for the Ophelias, what were some of your earlier Cincinnati gigs that you remember? Or maybe one of your first Cincinnati gigs where you were like, yes, we are a band now?
I feel like it was our 4th of July show, our first 4th of July show, don't you think?
That was cute. We all wore black and white because we were like, we don't want to wear red, white, and blue.
Right, a little on the nose.
Yeah, it's that, it's the Rock and Roll Festival in Northside, which they have, they set up, I think, 2 stages, and we were on the little stage at like 2 p.m. on the 4th of July, just at the end of the parade that happens there. So yeah.
And it definitely felt like, oh, we're playing a real show, like there are people here. Mm-hmm. And then a couple years later, we got to play on the big stage at the Rock and Roll Festival, and that was really fun too. I think our first show was in a warehouse, kind of across the street from, what is that, the Reading Street White Castle? It was
isn't it Taft or McMillan? It's on McMillan.
You're right, McMillan, not Reading. And it was like a benefit show. I was doing this like acting studio, and a bunch of bands played, and that was our first show. And I was so nervous, but it just felt very much like, okay, these are our friends, these are people we know. And it felt like, oh wow, like we're playing a show for the first time. And it was really exciting and really made me feel like, okay, we could do this.
Yeah. I understand that right around the time that all of this hit, you guys had a tour lined up that was supposed to happen right around when it got real. Was that right?
Yeah, everything shut down March 15th. We were supposed to leave on the 16th.
And where were you gonna go in that tour? I mean, I don't want to rub in like the sad moments of what could have been, but just out of curiosity.
Up to Canada, across the top of the country to Boise, down the West Coast, and back across the middle of the country.
And were you playing with anyone, or was it kind of an Ophelias thing?
We were doing the first stretch with Wunderbar, and then going to Boise for the Treefort Festival, and then we were still in the process of booking the last leg, so I'm actually not sure what we were going to be doing at that point, but we always, kind of figure that out.
Yeah. So, in lieu of being able to do a live show, you did a live stream in October, on October 28th. I attended. It was fantastic. And just for maybe some of the folks watching who have not gone to a live stream concert or know what a virtual concert is, how does that work? Tell us about the process of, what to expect when you go to a virtual concert.
Joe, do you want to answer the technical side, because the 28th
Yeah.
we had like an actual setup, which was cool.
Yeah, totally. It feels like they're evolving pretty fast. Like the first few we were just doing Instagram live streams. So it was just like iPhone audio.
Mhm.
And then we did one, or the latest one was, I think it was OBS Studio we used, and it was a very complex. I don't think it was that complex, but for us it was very complex. We just had to like plug all our stuff in. And it's kind of cool to see like something that existed but maybe was not like badly needed as much kind of slowly develop. I think the coolest live stream thing I've seen is 100 Gex that did a Minecraft live stream. And so it was like this kind of virtual world. And I don't know, I just from like a sort of computer art perspective, I think there's a ton of really interesting possibilities that we're sort of just scratching the surface of. And I hope that, even after we're able to play real shows, that like that kind of medium continues to evolve, because I do think it's like becoming its own thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So next question. So when everyone's touring, you're packed into your tour van, you're driving around the country, who is the person in the band that everyone else dreads when it's their turn to drive because you know that they get to pick what's on the radio? So who do you dread having to listen to their music choices the most? Evil Mick, maybe? Is it Evil Mick's picks that no one else likes?
It's definitely Evil Mick.
Yeah.
But we
Evil Mick-
usually just don't even pass Evil Mick the aux. So
Smart.
He's in the trunk.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
yeah.
gonna say, yeah.
Evil Mick would just play sicko mode on repeat.
okay.
I do
I
remember once we were driving through the desert and we listened to Sicko Mode followed by the Sicko Mode dubstep remix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was just a general bad choice.
We can't
It was
do
no
both.
one's fault.
I have good fond memories of that time.
Yeah, I was gonna say bad choice.
I think we all enjoy each other's music for the most part. Andrea might not love when Spencer plays like early 2000s hits. I don't. That's just the
no, I
feeling
love
get.
that. Are you serious?
Okay, fine. She's not. Andrea likes to play oldies more so, which is always fun. But I think in terms of actual driving, no one likes it when I drive.
Oh, okay.
That's so brave of you
That's
to
where
say.
I thought the question was going.
I know, I kind of covered my face. No one likes when I drive. I've almost killed us, I think, a few times. So, but music-wise, I think we're all on the same page, pretty much.
Well, then let me take it back. You said early 2000s hits. That can mean a lot of things. Like, what are we talking early 2000s hits?
Like
listen to
retired
Britney
Disney
Spears.
stars. Yeah.
Dude, yes, totally.
Kelly Clarkson, absolutely.
Yeah, Kelly Clarkson.
Wow.
Ashley.
Avril Lavigne.
Wait, Ashlee
Avril.
Simpson. Yeah, we said that.
Yeah,
Backstreet Boys.
actually.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
Hillary
2
Duff.
songs by Ashlee Simpson.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What was that? What was that one that there was one I had that Ashlee Simpson did that I liked too, and now I can't remember what it was.
Is it-
Pieces of Me. Boyfriend.
That's it.
Who's
Yeah.
who sings LOLOLOLOVE?
Rihanna.
Nuh-uh.
No, I think that's Ashlee Simpson.
No, I was thinking of Umbrella.
Yeah.
Oh, that one rips too, though. of
Oh
course.
yeah. No guilty
Yeah,
pleasure
it
on
is
that one.
Ashlee Simpson. That's the third Ashlee Simpson song.
I honestly would not consider any of those guilty pleasures because
No.
they're all just kind of marvels of pop songwriting. Like,
Yeah.
no guilt.
I don't know if guilty pleasures really exist. People throw that
No.
term around, and if you like something, you like it. I'm not going to apologize for liking the first Third Eye Blind album a lot, even if I'm only allowed to listen to it on headphones in the house. No, that's my thing. So, taking it back to again, because I've been, kind of reading into some of the things you guys have said in past interviews. So, Joe, I know you said one of your first rock CDs that you bought was Green Day American Idiot,
Yes, definitely.
which plays into a conversation I was just having at work. And I don't know, maybe it's a midlife crisis thing for me. I turned 40 this year. So I was having a conversation with someone. Is Green Day classic rock?
That's okay. I have a theory about that.
Oh boy.
Or not, it's more of a loose theory, but
It's a conspiracy, actually.
Yes.
About the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh my God.
No, but we can get into that if you want, but we don't have. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm looking at the time. I just don't know.
I feel like Green Day's like a cusp. Like I feel like the sort of arena rock in like its original like incarnation sort of ended this. I don't know why I'm imposing this like arbitrary line, but it feels like it ended sometime in the mid 2000s. Like people just started seeing it as a cliche in a way that maybe just because that's when I was growing up, but I feel like I don't know, they just like they're like the last like dude guitar band, like big popular dude guitar band that I like love unconditionally.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and it made me think in the conversation I was having. So I guess kind of a personal question. How old were you when you picked that up?
Oh yeah, okay. So this was second grade, and it was
Oh, wow.
like it was just like, oh man, it was like everything, you know, because it was political, but in a way that like a second grader could understand.
Yeah.
Which like, you know, maybe for like a 20-year-old that does not, but like it came at the exact right moment. Like I think it came out 2004 or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I
It
was
scratched that angst itch.
I was taking it back
Angsty
to
second grader.
I was
Oh.
yeah. That and Drop It Like It's Hot came out the same year. Two
oh
sides
my,
of the same coin.
that I haven't thought about that in a while, but you best believe that's what's going to get played the second that I hang up this call. That's such a great
That's
song.
a good song.
All right, so we covered a couple about Joe. You know, you said American Idiot. I saw Spencer, you had mentioned Allie and AJ as an early concert. Mick, you had mentioned Paramore as one of the earlier CDs you bought. Now, what I didn't get was Andrea. So what was one of the earlier pop rock CDs, important artists to you?
I think it was, at the time, so I think I first started getting really into listening music when I was living in Chile, because my mom is from there, so my family was living there for a couple of years when I was like 10. So I bought this record called, it's by Bellanova, that's what the artist is called, and I don't remember what the title of the album was, but that was, I think, the first CD that I bought.
All right.
It's kind of like a hyper pop Mexican artist.
And what was the name of that one again?
Her name is Bellanova.
Okay. All right, so now...
You can find...
Oh, God, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna like look if I could find the name of it, but it doesn't matter.
Well, if it comes up, yeah,
Electro pop sort of thing.
So we've talked about the mainstream stuff that everyone was getting into. So I'm very curious though, what was the gateway artist for some of you that took you away from listening to like the radio stuff into, wait, there's a whole other world of music that's not on the radio, or, you know, I guess not streaming, depending on when, or it's all streaming, but just not at the forefront of that. What was your gateway artist to more obscure music?
I was a seventh grader. It was Regina Spektor and her like early albums like 1111, and then of course Soviet Kitsch. I was listening to Buildings as a seventh grader on repeat, like, this is amazing. What is this? And then that kind of led to more stuff.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything that's
I think for me it was probably Pavement. Specifically Slanted and Enchanted. I got into that album. I am sorry, my dog's like crying. She's a baby. Also like Modest Mouse, like that. True. Sadly, I was obsessed with Modest Mouse for like at least 2 years. I think Modest Mouse, Pavement. Trying to think, Dinosaur Jr. probably. That's like how it started.
I still feel like I'm in my Pavement phase, to be honest. Like, started early high school and hasn't stopped.
Yeah, there's no reason for it to.
I've only had like 2 phases in my life so far, so I'm waiting for something else to happen still.
Anybody else have anything they want to share as far as their gateway?
I think my early gateway was Coldplay, but there's still kind of like radio music, you know. So then I think I was around 12 when I started listening to Andrew Bird, and that probably was like the true gateway, you know.
I think Rage
So
Against the Machine was my, like, I remember getting it and like my mom was like, I gotta listen to this before you do to make sure it's not too explicit. And I was like, whoa, like this is dangerous music.
so dangerous. Someone made me a cassette of Rage Against the Machine. I think I was like in 6th or 7th grade. And, you know, I don't know what happened to me after hearing that, but I decided for Christmas I wanted to get a weight bench. And so I don't know if those, I never used it. I listened to Rage Against the Machine for a little while, but the weight bench went nowhere. So I don't know. That was a phase. That was one of my 2 phases. One of them didn't go anywhere. So, you know, this is a lie, you know, we're coming from the library here. Is there a favorite music book that maybe one you just go back to, biography, fiction, nonfiction, anything you'd like to recommend to people who are watching?
Totally.
Joe, you just said totally?
Oh, I don't want to monopolize anybody else.
No, go for it.
Oh, Please Kill Me is a book about the punk scene that I think that's probably the book I've read most in my life. It's like an oral history, so it's all these interviews, and I just remember being a kid and being so enchanted with the idea of a scene, and I just felt like all I wanted was to get to be part of like a sort of affiliation of musicians who are sort of all working on something. It just seems so thrilling. Also, okay, Louis Armstrong is a really good writer. He his like autobiography, especially of growing up in New Orleans, is just like one of the best memoirs of all time. And he also if you want to get really deep, he just like has a really, in some of his essays, he had this crazy like modernist way of using punctuation that's almost like percussion, and it's just cool because it's like he could just like reinvent anything, you know, including writing.
I'm going to immediately place my hold on that. That's a great tip.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Anybody else want to throw their hat in the ring?
I really like this book called An Unfinished Song, and it's a biography by the wife of Victor Jara, who was a Chilean singer-songwriter in the late 1960s, early 1970s. And so, yeah, so he wrote a lot of, he was part of the Chilean New Song movement, which was a group of, like a movement of musicians and also artists who were very connected to the workers' struggles at that time, and also had like a very had like a connection to their. We're really interested in kind of looking at like traditional folk music. So a lot of them were kind of ethnographers in a way. And musicologists, and so they would collect a lot of these folk songs and reinterpret them into like new songs. And so he had a very interesting life because of, you know, not only his music but also his political involvement and his beliefs. And he was actually killed when the dictatorship came into power in Chile in 1973. So it's a really beautiful book. It's really beautifully written, and I love like. It's a very interesting mix of music and politics and culture.
Wow.
History.
That's a fantastic recommendation. Definitely going to look into that one. So one more question before we kind of
Wait, I've got one.
Oh, so sorry.
I've got a book. Jenny Hval wrote like a novella titled Paradise Rot that is phenomenal. It's kind of a queer surrealist story, but it's very it's all encompassing. Like it really just kind of sucks you in. It's not very long, but it really was it was wonderful. And then also the 33 and a Third series, I mean, it's classic, but specifically the Live Through This whole kind of, it's not even really a biography anymore. I feel like those books they're all so singular because it's different authors each time, but the one for Live Through This is exceptionally well written. It gets into a lot of feminist theory, some personal anecdotes, history of the band, kind of political history of what was going on at the time. And I think it's one of the more well-written in that series. And then also Girl in a Band, of course, the Kim Gordon autobiography is wonderful.
So good. Live Through This is one of my favorite albums. It's actually one of the first CDs that I would look forward to Kings Island trips with my choir. Like, I'm not from the Cincinnati area, but we'd come up and I'd be like, oh, I can get an album and my parents won't be around and they won't know what I'm buying. And of all the things about going to Kings Island, I was excited to be able to buy Live Through This. It's one of my favorite albums, and I did not know there was a 33 1/3 about it.
Yeah, it rules. Highly recommend.
I will fix
Hey,
that.
so I just wanted to say that I have to step out because I have to drive my sister to work. But I also just wanted to shout out Questlove's book, Mometa Blues. Not that Questlove needs a shout out from me, but I'm just
He
saying
does.
my contribution to this would be that book. And he does like a little like year wrap up of like the most influential records of that year, like in the past for him. So that was really cool to see, like from a drummer also. But anyway, thank you for having us, and it was nice talking to you. Sorry I have to leave early. My sister can't drive.
Thank you so much for your time, Mick.
Love you, Mick.
Nice to meet you. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Yeah,
Bye, Mick.
take care.
Well, we lost evil Mick and real Mick along the way.
Yeah.
So kind of a broad question, just to wrap things up, let you guys get on with your evening. So what's next for the Ophelias? I want to pry because it said there's a third album, but I don't want to, pry for details you're not allowed to share.
Yeah, we have some stuff in our pocket, but we can't really tell you anything, and I apologize for that.
Oh, totally understandable. Now, For Luck was recorded after everything shut down. Was this recorded before all of that then? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, how frustrating.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Right, but it's also got to be frustrating to know that.
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah, it's been okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, really excited about that. Where can people go to keep up with the Ophelias? What are some handles to look out for?
You can follow us on Instagram at the Ophelias, Twitter at the Ophelias, Facebook, I think we're the Ophelias Band. We are on, you can see all of our music videos on the Joyful Noise YouTube. Joe directed all of the videos for our last album and also made this really cool CGI canyon erosion video for Grand Canyon, so you should definitely check that out. I'm on TikTok. If anyone is on TikTok, I make some Ophelias related TikToks on there. My username is Spencer Peppet. I'm trying to think. I think that might be everything. Yeah.
We covered it all then. And just for people who are watching, you can place a hold, and I do mean place a hold because there are holds on it. The Ophelia's first album, Almost, you can place a hold on that on vinyl through the library. I'll put a link on that. Interestingly, through our Hoopla streaming service, there's a really great live session with Audio Tree that you can check out with the Ophelias, which is really great. Unfortunately, you cannot place a hold on the For Luck vinyl because it's sold out. So congrats on that.
Thanks.
Everybody. And with that, unless you guys have anything else you'd like to say, I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. We love the library. We think it is wonderful, and we really appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for doing such thorough research and stuff. And it was very flattering.
I'm a reference librarian. I have to do the bare minimum.
Oh, yeah.
I went to Wikipedia. Is that
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that you could do that blows my mind.
I can type and ask questions.
I'm not used to anyone caring at all, so.
Oh, come on.
Aw, Joe.
Everybody cares.
I was fishing for that, so thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. I'd love to chat again at some point and can't wait to hear the new music.
Thanks
so much.
Have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night.
Bye.
All right. Thank you so much to everyone out there for joining us tonight, and definitely thank you to the Ophelias for giving us some of their valuable time. That was a great discussion. Remember to check the comments tonight for everything that we talked about. You can place holds and check things out with your Cincinnati Public Library card. And be sure to join us again 2 Thursdays from now at 8 o'clock for the next episode of My Favorite Album is Terrible. Also in the comments section, you're going to find the big reveal of what we will be discussing the next time around. If you enjoyed tonight's show, give us a like. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, definitely give us a share if you know some other folks who would like to join us next time. We definitely want to get the word out, and we definitely want to make everything, these conversations interactive in the comments section. So yeah, thanks again. Have a great couple of weeks, and I will see you 2 Thursdays from now. Thanks.